Something big is happening, and no one is talking about it. Central banks are buying gold at record levels. Gold reserves skyrocket as countries move away from the US dollar. Is the global economy bracing for a major shift? Why are central banks hoarding gold like never before? What do they know that we don't? Is this the beginning of the end for the dollar's dominance? This is Elite Global Watch, where we simplify the complex and reveal the hidden. Let's break it all down. Stay tuned. The gold rush. What's happening? It's not just a trend, it's a global gold rush. Central banks around the world are stockpiling gold at a pace we haven't seen in decades. But why, and who's leading the charge? Let's talk numbers. In 2023 alone, central banks added over 1,000 metric tons of gold to their reserves. That's the highest level in over 50 years. And it's not slowing down. Just in the last quarter, central banks made another massive push, adding hundreds of billions of dollars worth of gold to their vaults. But the real question is, why now? Some of the biggest buyers in this gold rush are exactly who you'd expect, and some might surprise you. China, Russia, India, the Middle East, and even parts of Europe. Nations once comfortable with the dollar are now buying gold in record amounts. I will explain their reasons for that in detail as we go on, so stay tuned. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on rising global issues and more. Thank you. Why gold? The motivations behind the hoarding. So, why gold? Why are countries ditching the dollar and rushing to fill their vaults with gold bars? It all comes down to trust. Or rather, a loss of trust in the global financial system as we know it. 1. Loss of confidence in the US dollar, de-dollarization. For decades, the US dollar has been the world's go-to reserve currency. But now, more and more nations are looking for alternatives. The BRICS alliance, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, is leading the de-dollarization movement, pushing for trade in their own currencies instead of relying on the dollar. 2. Geopolitical uncertainty, a world in conflict. And then there's geopolitical instability. Let's face it, the world is on edge. From the US-China trade war, to sanctions on Russia, to growing tensions in the Middle East, nations no longer trust the current system to protect them. So what's the safest bet? Gold. No sanctions, no counterparty risk, no reliance on another country's economy. 3. Economic stability. Gold is a hedge against financial crisis. Inflation is eating away at currencies. Banks are collapsing. The global economy is looking more fragile than ever. With governments drowning in debt and inflation skyrocketing, central banks see gold as a lifeline, a store of value that won't lose its worth when everything else crumbles. 4. The shift in trade and finance. A new system emerging? But this isn't just about security, it's about power. A new financial system is forming, one that doesn't depend on the West. BRICS Pay, a system designed to allow nations to trade without using the US dollar. And guess what's backing this system? Gold. If gold-backed trade systems take hold, the global financial order could shift dramatically. We are witnessing the birth of a new economic reality, and gold is at the center of it all. Who are the biggest buyers? It's not just a few countries buying gold, this is a global gold rush. And some of the biggest players might surprise you. China's silent gold accumulation, the secret strategy. China isn't just buying gold, it's hoarding it. Beijing has been adding to its reserves month after month, but they aren't exactly shouting it from the rooftops. Officially, China's central bank holds over 2,000 metric tons of gold, but analysts believe the real number could be much higher. Why the secrecy? Because China is playing the long game, slowly reducing its reliance on the US dollar without causing a market panic. Smart move. Russia's gold stockpile. The sanctions workaround. Russia's gold strategy? A direct response to Western sanctions. When the US and its allies froze Russia's dollar reserves, Moscow had only one choice: go all in on gold. And that's exactly what they did. Russia now holds over 2,300 tons of gold, making it one of the largest holders in the world. And here's the kicker: Russia is now using gold to bypass sanctions, settling trade with countries like China and India using gold-backed agreements. A financial rebellion in real time. Emerging market players, the new gold buyers. But this isn't just about China and Russia, a whole new group of countries is jumping into the gold game. India. India has been steadily increasing its gold reserves, preparing for potential shifts in global trade. Brazil. Brazil's central bank has quadrupled its gold holdings in the past 2 years, signaling a shift away from Western reliance. The Middle East. Saudi Arabia and the UAE are buying gold aggressively, with whispers that they're considering backing their oil trade with gold instead of the dollar. Even Europe. Countries like Poland and Hungary are stockpiling gold at record levels, quietly hedging against a potential financial reset. The dollar's decline. For nearly a century, the US dollar has been the undisputed king of global finance. But what happens when the world starts looking for a new king? BRICS nations explore gold-backed currency. Central banks dump US dollar, buy gold instead. Is the dollar's global dominance coming to an end? The question isn't if the dollar is losing power, but how fast. And gold might be the biggest threat to its reign. Will gold replace the US dollar as the global reserve? For decades, the US dollar was backed by gold. That changed in 1971, when the US cut the link between gold and the dollar. Since then, the world has relied on the dollar alone as the backbone of global trade. But now, as central banks hoard gold and countries look for alternatives, some are wondering, is it time to go back? Gold-backed currencies, a new global financial order? The BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, are actively working on a new currency. And what could back it? Gold. A gold-backed BRICS currency could fundamentally shift global finance, reducing the world's dependence on the US dollar. This wouldn't just be another currency, it would be a direct challenge to the dollar's global dominance. Imagine a world where trade isn't settled in USD, but in gold-backed money instead. The risk of inflation, economic crisis, and new monetary policies. Meanwhile, the US is drowning in debt and inflation. With trillions in liabilities, some fear the dollar's value is on shaky ground. The more dollars the US prints, the weaker they become. And when central banks stop trusting the dollar, they turn to gold. The risk? A global financial reset. If confidence in the dollar collapses, it could trigger economic chaos, not just in the US, but worldwide. What this means for the future? We are standing at the edge of a new financial era. The world is shifting, and gold is at the center of it all. But what does this mean for you? Is this a new financial order in the making? The more countries move away from the US dollar, the more unstable the global financial system becomes. This isn't just about central banks hoarding gold. This could redefine global power. If the dollar loses its reserve currency status, the US loses one of its biggest economic advantages, printing money without consequences. And if that happens, expect major global shifts. A new gold-backed financial system wouldn't just impact banks and governments, it would change everything about how we trade, invest, and even save money. How will this impact everyday people, markets, and investors? Let's break it down. If gold continues to rise, and the dollar weakens, everyday prices could skyrocket. Everything from food to gas to housing could become even more expensive. Markets? Volatility could explode. If gold-backed currencies take hold, investors will flood into gold, silver, and other commodities. Stocks and bonds? A lot more uncertainty. Real estate markets could be shaken, especially in countries dependent on dollar stability. Meanwhile, gold and commodity-rich nations could see massive economic booms. If you're an investor, this is the time to pay attention. The shift to gold isn't just a trend, it's a long-term realignment of global wealth. The role of cryptocurrencies and other assets. But wait, where does crypto fit into all of this? As trust in traditional currencies fades, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other digital assets are emerging as alternative safe havens. Some experts believe Bitcoin could become the new digital gold, while others argue nothing can replace physical gold's historical value. And here's the wild card: gold-backed digital currencies. Imagine a world where money isn't just paper or crypto, it's gold, but digitalized. New financial technologies are merging gold and blockchain, creating the possibility of a fully gold-backed digital economy. This could be the biggest disruption in global finance ever. In conclusion, so, let's take a step back. What have we just uncovered? Central banks are hoarding gold like never before. The US dollar is facing major challenges from de-dollarization and rising gold-backed trade. Nations like China, Russia, and BRICS are actively shifting away from the Western financial system. A new financial order is emerging, one where gold, digital assets, and alternative currencies could reshape the global economy. So, what do you think? Let us know in the comments. This shift could impact all of us, from the money in our pockets to the way we invest and trade. If you found this breakdown valuable, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We dive deep into global trends, so you won't want to miss what's coming next.